Breakfast television time is 9:41. Hello, Edmonton, Dawn's hometown.
Is that Edmonton again?
Yeah.
Is this the time that we give the shout out to the Chuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Chuck.
Did we forgot about Edmonton?
No, I should.
We keep forgetting to
I was there at Edmonton speaking for a home show once, and it was like half-price wine on a Wednesday. That's all. Every time I see Edmonton, it's like,
oh yeah.
and you were allowed to take the bottle home with you if you didn't drink.
Listen,
it.
What? This is before it became sort of more regular to be able to do that.
It was in Ontario. We weren't allowed to do that yet. And there they were like, you know, you might as well just order a bottle because whatever you don't drink, you just take it home with you. And I mean, I said, you mean I can walk out the street with a bottle?
And the drinking age. And the drinking age, I mean, I don't know what it is here now because I'm way older. See, it's 18 in Edmonton. So it was always kind of, you know.
I feel like it's always half-price bottles of wine in Edmonton.
I do not deny. I remember that comment.
Quick question for the group here. It's a Reddit dilemma. This is out there. Father took to Reddit to ask this question, and he says, I have a crush on my daughter's teacher. We've chatted a lot, not just about school, but also on a personal level. I do know she is single and only moved here this year. I'm trying to work out whether to ask her out now or wait till the school year is out. On one hand, I don't want to miss my chance, but on the other, I don't want to get that would be inappropriate, unprofessional rejection. What do we think, family? We're going to start with you, Frank Ferragini.
Well, seeing that he's writing this on Reddit, I don't know what type of a person he is, and I don't know how this would go for him. And, you know, main thing is your children are priority number one. And sometimes you may have to put love on the shelf because you love your child so much, and you wouldn't want to put them at risk or make them feel uncomfortable. So to me, don't do it because your kid and their attitude and their well-being is worth more than anything else. That's why we have kids. We have to sacrifice a little bit until they become a little bit older. Then you say, hey, take care of yourself.
out the door.
You have to take care of me soon. Yeah.
Tell me what you think.
I agree with Frank. I'm glad that he at least knows that there is this perception that it would be weird and unprofessional. At least he knows this and is aware, and this is why it's the dilemma.
If it feels awkward, you shouldn't do it.
Then you shouldn't do it. I definitely think either you don't do it at all or you have to wait until the year is out. You have to wait until they're no longer in the class.
Definitely. Who you fall in love with?
Oh, I'm going with the year is out. Like, I'm still in the school with the teacher, and like, what if it doesn't work out? And now I'm walking the halls and like, oh, there's Miss Sutherland.
One year they're teaching grade 2. The next year, all of a sudden, they're like the grade 4 teacher.
Right? Like they change around, right?
Yes.
I feel like there's two. I 100% agree with everything there. What happens? Potential favoritism, conflict of interest. But the one thing we haven't talked about is how do we, unless the teacher, the lover to be perhaps, has really opened that door, that might make her feel really uncomfortable and pressured in some sort of way.
Parent-teacher meeting would be fun.
And it's just, I mean, I'm not saying it's harassment or anything, but there is that sort of pressure that's involved. Like, what if, you upset somebody? What's involved? We don't really know this person. Also, it's pretty presumptuous just because you've talked a little bit about her personal life to assume that this is a wide open door hey, just, we're not, this isn't a bar, this is school.
Yeah.
Right.
Guys are dumb. If you say hi to us, we're like, oh my God, she's in love with me. It's true, right?
True.
First, he didn't say this in the thing, but I hope he's single, first of all. All right? Let me ask you
That's the assumption.
Okay? Let's go with that. Here's where I'm torn. If she is interested, let's just say that, right?
Okay.
It is, I think, a tougher decision for her than it is for him, obviously. But where do people really meet other people that they end up with? A lot of times it could be through friends or through family. If you don't have that social circle, it's through work.
Or through
the
phone.
Yeah, but true. But she's at work as a teacher. She's at work 10 hours a day probably, and that's kind of her life. So now her social circle tends to be her colleagues. And now some of the parents that are like
the way that
kids.
he's probably seeing her interact with his child, that can really win somebody's heart over.
Yeah.
And so some of the filters that you're having on may not be filters that are really correct. And so you may be in the impression of like and affection that you're getting there's a lot, and especially if he's maybe going through a divorce, he's seeing things and he wants that caring person.
Yeah, because you're absorbing sort of the atmosphere and the things that you want. I think too, the conversation could possibly be changed. It's different different having the conversation, again, after a parent-teacher interview. You're in her workspace, which is a completely different dynamic. Now, if she were sitting at, a coffee shop or whatever, and happens to run in, he sits down, I think then you're on more even playing field. And maybe
Switzerland.
maybe then my answer would change.
Somebody's workspace.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough one. But it is awkward because that's the thing. It's not a teacher just for that year, right?
Right.
Like that teacher's going to be in that school and
Imagine
years
if
after that.
That teacher all of a sudden teaches the next grade. You actually asked her out, and you're there with your new person interviewing the teacher at that time with your child.
We haven't even talked about how embarrassing it is for the kid.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I did.
this is all.
I want to walk the hall with,
Right.
and be seeing Miss, Southern.
like
You're gonna go to Southern.
Yeah.
But what happens if you're also the other kids?
That too,
Right?
you get made
because
fun
you're
of.
getting favoritism. Like there's a lot to it. Maybe he leaves it alone.
Leave it alone.
I say just
Look for love.
Step
You're
away.
looking for love in all the wrong places.
places.
A lot of teachers to school you.
And nope, don't be hot for the teacher this time.
All right. Is there something that absolutely grinds your gears when you're hosting? Coming up next, we're going to chat all about visitor etiquette when people come into your home. That's next right here on BT. More family.
Family talk.